I want to ask you something. Have you ever considered what a basic nut could be doing inside your system? Most people never give it a thought. You've definitely heard the saying before, nuts benefit your heart, they're packed with healthy fats. Choose them over processed foods frequently, particularly if you're past 60. But here's something you haven't been told. When eaten consistently after turning 60, certain nuts might quietly do more damage than benefit. Recent studies reveal that some everyday nuts can impair mental function, elevate inflammation levels, constrict blood vessels, and interfere with medications. What's worse, there's a specific nut that many older adults eat thinking it's nutritious or low-carb, but it's been linked to compounds that can damage your kidneys, strain your liver, and impact brain aging. Chances are it's sitting in your pantry right now. You've probably eaten it recently. This week though, nearly everyone is talking about the real impact it's having on senior bodies, which is why this video reveals the 4 nuts that can quietly damage people over 60. The 4 nuts that genuinely support healthy aging through better circulation and stronger bones. Plus, a shocking reality about one nut that's been falsely promoted as heart-healthy for years. We've gathered the latest studies, expert nutritional advice, and clinical evidence. If you care about preserving your independence, memory, and blood flow, this could be the most important health video you watch this month. Please hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and turn on notifications before we continue so you won't miss the other episodes in this essential series for seniors, and tell us in the comments which nut is your favorite snack and how often you eat it. I'm reading every single response. Alright, let's dive in. Here's the first nut that might need a complete reassessment. Let's talk about walnuts. Yes, that nut most people associate with cardiovascular health, brain power, and clean nutrition. It even resembles a tiny brain. Walnuts have been praised for years for their antioxidant content, plant protein, and omega-3 fatty acids. To be honest, some of that praise is deserved. But if you're over 60, you probably don't know about this side of walnuts. A side that could be making your blood pressure climb, your joints ache, and your memory fuzzy, even when you eat them moderately. Here's the issue. Walnuts are loaded with omega-6 fatty acids, especially linoleic acid. The problem is that omega-6 competes with omega-3 in your system, even though it's technically an essential fat. Plus, when omega-6 levels get too high, which they often do in modern diets, they promote inflammation instead of reducing it. This becomes especially critical after 60 because our cells become more vulnerable to oxidative stress. Managing inflammation gets harder as we age, and it's a primary driver of everything from arthritis to Alzheimer's to arterial damage. And here's the kicker. Walnuts contain almost 10 times more omega-6 than omega-3. So while many seniors think they're balancing their fats by snacking on walnuts, they're actually tipping the scales toward more inflammation, especially if they're also eating wheat, cooking with vegetable oils, or consuming processed snacks. It's not just about inflammation either. Too much omega-6 can also impact your endothelial cell function. These cells line your blood vessels and help regulate circulation and blood pressure. Plus, inflammation can lead to arterial stiffening, which is exactly what many seniors are trying to avoid. Don't get me wrong, walnuts aren't evil. They still contain beneficial compounds like magnesium, melatonin, and polyphenols. However, to avoid harm after 60, they need to be consumed very strategically. So if you're currently eating large handfuls of walnuts daily thinking they're healthy, you might want to pause and reconsider. Here's what you can do instead. Limit yourself to no more than 5 to 7 walnut halves per day, preferably raw, dry roasted, or unsalted. Never pair them with vegetable oils like sunflower, soybean, or corn oil. Always balance them with omega-3 rich foods like chia seeds, flax seeds, or salmon. Store them in the refrigerator. Walnut oils turn rancid quickly, which increases inflammation. Also, if you've been eating walnuts daily and experiencing unexplained high blood pressure, joint pain, post-meal fatigue, or brain fog, they might be contributing. The good news, cutting back or properly balancing them could lead to noticeable improvements in circulation, energy, and even mental clarity within a few weeks. You don't have to eliminate all nuts, but you do need to understand what's helping your body and what's working against it. Next, we'll look at an even more sneaky nut. It's in every keto snack, seems clean and healthy, yet it can block calcium absorption and spike blood sugar. Now let's talk about cashews. They're smooth, creamy, found in keto-friendly snack bars and premium health packages. But cashews might be one of the most misleading nuts you can eat after 60. Here's why. At first glance, cashews seem harmless. They taste amazing and aren't too hard or too oily. But that buttery flavor masks a dangerous trio of risks for older adults. especially those dealing with digestive, kidney, and blood sugar issues. First, the blood sugar problem. Most people don't realize that cashews have a higher glycemic index than almost any other nut. With nearly 9 grams of carbs per ounce and barely any fiber to balance it out, they can spike your blood sugar faster than pistachios, walnuts, or almonds, something most seniors simply can't afford. Why? Because roughly 48% of people over 65 have diabetes or prediabetes. Even small blood sugar spikes can cause mood swings, fatigue, mental fog, and long-term damage to their heart, muscles, nerves, and eyes. But that's just part one. Next comes the oxalate issue. Cashews are among the highest oxalate nuts available. Oxalates are natural compounds that can bind to calcium and form crystals in your kidneys. Yes, we're talking about kidney stones. After 60, your kidneys become more sensitive, and your risk increases if you already deal with blood pressure medications, dehydration, or limited mobility. In some people, cashews don't just block calcium absorption, they actually cause the body to lose calcium, which in severe cases can lead to osteoporosis, joint pain, and bone weakening. Third is toxin processing. Not all cashews are truly raw. They're steamed or roasted to remove urushiol, the same compound found in poison ivy. That's right, the shell cashews grow in contains a toxic resin that must be properly removed before the nut can be sold. While this is usually handled by industrial processes, traces of residue can sometimes remain. Sensitive people who eat cashews regularly have also experienced allergic reactions or digestive issues. Let's recap. Cashews can spike blood sugar, disrupt calcium metabolism, increase kidney stone risk, contain processing toxins, and are incredibly easy to overeat. You might not realize how significant that last point is. Due to their mild taste and smooth texture, cashews are one of the most over-snackable nuts. And that handful can quickly add up when you're dealing with slower metabolism, aging digestion, and increasing insulin resistance. So what should you do? Don't panic if you love cashews, but be careful. Keep servings to no more than 1 ounce, that's about 16 to 18 pieces. Never get them roasted in oil or salt. Always choose unsalted, dry roasted varieties. Avoid pairing them with trail mixes containing added sugar or dried fruit. Most importantly, don't eat them daily. Cutting back to just once or twice a week will help balance your blood sugar, protect your kidneys, and reduce inflammation. Plus, if you've been experiencing fatigue, bloating, or unexplained joint stiffness after snacking, cashews might be the culprit. The good news? There are much better options. Next, we'll look at a nut most people never question, a nut that seems expensive, sophisticated, and harmless. But for seniors with circulation issues, it might be the worst saturated fat bomb. You guessed it. We're talking about how macadamia nuts could be quietly straining your heart. They're buttery, rich, and among the most expensive nuts you can buy. But for those over 60, macadamia nuts might also be one of the most dangerous choices. Yes, they taste incredible. Their creamy texture is indulgent, almost luxurious. Sure, macadamias do contain some beneficial monounsaturated fats, but that's only part of the story. The other part is how that fat functions in an aging body. First, let's discuss something most people overlook. Macadamia nuts are the highest calorie nut available. 1 ounce contains about 200 calories and over 21 grams of fat. That's more than double what you'd get from a serving of pistachios or almonds. You might think, but it's good fat, right? Here's the catch. Our metabolism dramatically slows as we get older. Your body simply doesn't process calories the same way it did in your 30s or 40s. This means regularly eating these high-calorie nuts without measuring portions can easily lead to weight gain. And gaining weight after 60 isn't just about vanity. Extra body fat increases your risk of type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, joint stress, and even reduced mobility. But there's more. Macadamias also have a significant saturated fat content, 3.4 grams per ounce. That's more than most other nuts, and more than many seniors should consume regularly. Why does this matter? Because saturated fat can raise bad LDL cholesterol, reduce arterial flexibility, and increase the risk of atherosclerosis or artery hardening. That's the exact opposite of what you want after 60. Even worse, macadamias are often sold oil-roasted in inferior fats, heavily salted and in bulk sizes, with no portion control guidance. These added fats and salts worsen inflammation, especially in older adults dealing with high blood pressure, water retention, or slow digestion. Let's talk about digestion for a moment. Because macadamia nuts are so dense, they require significant bile production to break down. But many people over 60 have either a sluggish gallbladder or no gallbladder at all. This means the fat from macadamias might sit undigested in your stomach, causing bloating, nausea, reflux, and even nutrient deficiencies. Plus, if you've had gallstones or gallbladder surgery, macadamias are among the worst nuts you can eat. These nuts are extremely hard and tough to chew. For older adults with fragile jaws, dental work like crowns and bridges, or teeth that break easily, this creates real danger. When you're in your 70s, the last thing you want is cracking a tooth on one bite. Here's what happens in practice. Because they're so expensive, many seniors on limited budgets buy macadamias from discount bins that have sat around for months. The rancid oils and stale macadamias actually increase inflammation rather than reduce it. What's worse, these spoiled fats have been linked to faster cellular aging, memory problems, and dangerous oxidative damage to artery walls. So are macadamia nuts completely bad? Not necessarily. You can include them in your eating plan if you're physically active, in good health, and eat them sparingly. But for most seniors, they offer too few benefits while creating too many problems. Here's what you can do if you love the taste. Keep it to just 4 or 5 nuts maximum per week. Choose only dry roasted, unsalted options. Never eat them alongside desserts, alcohol, or other fatty foods. Stop immediately if you experience mental fog, stomach upset, or bloating afterward. Better yet, switch to nuts that are gentler on digestion, lighter in texture, and packed with more fiber, like almonds or pistachios. We'll explore those in detail next because we're finally reaching the beneficial ones. Coming up, let's begin with a nut that helps seniors stay regular, lower cholesterol, and build stronger bones. After covering the hazards of certain popular nuts, let's talk about a nut that should absolutely be in your pantry if you're over 60. I'm talking about almonds. No, it's not just because they're handy and have a satisfying crunch. Almonds are one of the most nutritionally complete and balanced nuts for older adults, especially when it comes to cholesterol management, brain protection, and bone strength. Let's break this down. Bone deterioration becomes a silent enemy after 60. Both men and women start losing density in their hips, spine, and wrists. Fall risk goes up, plus fractures can mean long hospital stays and permanent mobility loss. This is where almonds shine. 1 ounce, about 23 almonds, contains over 3.5 grams of fiber, 97 milligrams of calcium, and nearly 20% of your daily magnesium needs. Why does this matter? Because calcium and magnesium work together to fortify your bones, but most people don't understand magnesium's special job. Magnesium acts like a calcium traffic controller. It guides calcium to your bones and teeth instead of your arteries where it can create dangerous plaque buildup. In other words, almonds don't just maintain bone health, they also help protect your heart. Be careful if you're taking calcium pills too. Without enough magnesium, all that calcium might end up in the wrong places. Eating whole foods like almonds helps your body properly absorb and use these nutrients. But there's more. Almonds also provide healthy fats that boost HDL levels while lowering LDL cholesterol, vitamin E, which is a powerful antioxidant for brain and skin health, and flavonoids found in almond skins that double the antioxidant power. Let's talk about memory for a moment. One study from Tufts University found that regular almond consumption improved memory recall, slowed mental decline, and reduced oxidative brain damage in older adults. That's huge because memory loss is one of seniors' biggest fears. Even small changes like adding almonds to your daily routine can make a real difference. How should you eat them? Here's my recommendation. Stick to 15 to 20 almonds daily, either raw or dry roasted. Avoid salted versions. They increase blood pressure and cause water retention. Always chew thoroughly. For those with swallowing difficulties or dental issues, almonds can be a choking risk. Try almond butter, ground almonds, or blending them into smoothies. If chewing is hard, make sure your almonds keep their skins on. The skin contains crucial flavonoids that boost vitamin E's antioxidant effects. Almonds can actually promote regular digestion, since each serving has 3.5 grams of fiber. This can help with constipation, which affects nearly 40% of adults over 65. Finally, thanks to their low glycemic impact, fiber, and healthy fats, almonds can help steady blood sugar. So almonds are among the healthiest nuts you can eat daily if you struggle with energy crashes or blood sugar spikes. Just don't overdo it. Even healthy nuts can cause bloating or weight gain if portions aren't watched. Overall, seniors should make almonds a regular habit. They're nutrient-packed, easy to digest, and support all the key things that matter after 60. Digestion, heart health, brain function, and bone strength. Next up, a small green and often overlooked champion. Let's talk about pistachios and why they could become your new best friend when it comes to blood sugar and blood pressure management. They might be the most underrated nut for senior health because they're bright green and come in tiny shells. We're talking about pistachios, which could be more helpful than you realize if you're over 60. Let's start with one of the biggest benefits: blood pressure support. Managing blood pressure becomes critical as we get older. Stiff arteries, fluid buildup, and medication side effects can all raise blood pressure. More than 63% of people over 60 already deal with hypertension. This is where pistachios excel. Unlike high-fat nuts or salted snack mixes, pistachios naturally contain high potassium, low sodium, and plant compounds that help relax blood vessels. A clinical study in hypertension actually showed that pistachios can reduce systolic blood pressure by up to 5 points, matching some mild medications. Plus, unlike drugs, pistachios only have a pleasant crunch with no side effects. Now let's talk about circulation. Pistachios are rich in L-arginine, an amino acid that helps produce nitric oxide, keeping blood vessels flexible and open. This can lead to better heart function, fewer leg cramps, and improved oxygen delivery. So if you're dealing with poor circulation, feeling colder, or walking less, pistachios might naturally boost blood flow. But there's more to love about these little green gems than circulation. Pistachios are also loaded with lutein and zeaxanthin, two carotenoids that protect your eyes. Especially the macula, the central part of your retina that gives you sharp vision. This matters because age-related macular degeneration, or AMD, is the leading cause of vision loss in adults over 60. While carrots get all the attention, pistachios provide the key nutrients to maintain eye health as you age, helping you read, drive, and see the faces of people you love. Another advantage is blood sugar control. Pistachios have a low glycemic index and contain a smart mix of protein, fiber, and healthy fats. So unlike high-carb snacks, they won't spike blood sugar levels. One study actually found that pistachios helped reduce after-meal glucose spikes by as much as 30%. This is game-changing for the 25% of seniors who have diabetes or prediabetes. Now let's discuss portion control and safety. Compared to hard nuts like macadamias, pistachios are softer and easier to chew, less likely to damage sensitive teeth, dentures, or crowns. Having to shell them slows you down, which prevents overeating. So it's naturally self-limiting. This isn't just cute, there's research behind it. A study in the International Journal of Obesity found that people who had to shell their pistachios ate fewer total calories. The visual reminder of the shells helped them track how much they'd eaten. This is a huge win for seniors trying to manage weight, blood sugar, and portion sizes. Here's how to enjoy pistachios the smart way. Choose lightly salted or unsalted varieties. Stick to 49 pistachios daily, that's about 1 ounce. Store them in a cool, dark place. Chew well, especially if you have swallowing difficulties. And remember those bright purple and green colors? They're not just pretty, they come from natural antioxidants that fight aging and cell damage from brain to heart to skin. The bottom line? Pistachios are one of the best nuts for seniors. They lower blood pressure, manage blood sugar, and protect your vision. All without the extra challenge of digesting heavy, fatty nuts. Next up, another gentle giant from the nut world. Let's talk about hazelnuts and why they might be one of the best-kept secrets for heart protection and reducing brain inflammation. Most people think of hazelnuts with chocolate spreads or dessert toppings. But what if I told you that this humble nut, often overlooked in the snack aisle, could be one of the most powerful allies for senior health? Hazelnuts are naturally sweet, earthy, and rich. But their real value, especially after 60, lies in what they do inside your body. Let's start with the most important: brain protection. Oxidative stress in the brain is one of the biggest threats we face as we age. This is the gradual damage caused by free radicals, tiny unstable molecules that attack healthy cells and speed up aging. Hazelnuts are one of the richest natural sources of vitamin E, specifically alpha-tocopherol. This antioxidant is crucial for protecting brain cells, maintaining nerve function, reducing cognitive decline, and lowering the risk of neurodegenerative diseases. A 2020 study in the Nutrients Journal actually found that seniors who ate vitamin E-rich foods like hazelnuts had better memory retention and less brain shrinkage over time. That's no small thing. But hazelnuts aren't just brain food, they also support your heart, which needs all the help it can get after 60. Hazelnuts contain monounsaturated fats that reduce LDL cholesterol, magnesium to help regulate blood pressure, and copper and manganese minerals that support blood vessel flexibility and oxygen transport. This combination keeps your arteries more flexible, improves circulation, and reduces the risk of heart attack and stroke. Plus, unlike some other nuts, hazelnuts are easy for seniors to digest. They're softer than almonds, easier to chew than macadamias, and less likely to cause bloating or reflux compared to high-fat alternatives. For anyone with dental issues or slower digestion, hazelnuts can deliver the same heart and brain benefits in a gentler, safer package. Don't overlook their role in skin health and anti-aging either. Hazelnuts are rich in natural oils that improve skin hydration and elasticity, flavonoids that reduce inflammation, and folate which helps with cell regeneration. So, whether it's your memory, arteries, or skin, hazelnuts work from the inside out. Here's how to get the most benefit. Eat about 20 hazelnuts or 1 ounce daily. Choose unsalted, dry roasted varieties. Look for nuts that still have their skins. The dark skin contains powerful flavonoids. If chewing is difficult, try hazelnut butter or blend them into smoothies. Most people don't know this tip. Hazelnuts pair wonderfully with berries, another excellent brain food. Berries contain vitamin C, which enhances your body's absorption of vitamin E. Mix some hazelnuts into a bowl of blueberries for a true senior superfood snack. Let's recap. Hazelnuts support brain function, cholesterol, circulation, healthy skin, and even cellular defense. They're not trendy, they're not flashy, but they're among the most complete nuts you can eat after 60. After covering the 4 best and 4 worst nuts, it's time for a final section. We'll bring everything together. Up next, the science-backed daily nut routine, a quick recap, and some bonus nutrition tips to help you stay strong, sharp, and independent for years to come. Let's do it. By now you've seen the complete picture. You know that not all nuts are created equal, and that the ones you thought were healthy might be doing more harm than good. Let's quickly review what we covered. The top 4 nuts seniors should avoid after 60. Peanuts, which are prone to mold, toxins, and inflammation. Cashews, which spike blood sugar and increase kidney stone risk. Macadamias, which are dense in saturated fat and hard on digestion, and pine nuts, which are medication disruptors that can affect taste and trigger unwanted weight loss. The 4 best nuts for seniors. Now that you know which nuts support your bones, digestion, and vitamin E levels, and which ones to limit, let's discuss how to create a daily nut routine for better energy, circulation, and long-term independence. Almonds are excellent for bones, digestion, and vitamin E. Walnuts in small amounts support brain health and sleep. Pistachios lower blood pressure, support vision and blood sugar. Hazelnuts help protect the heart and brain. Your perfect daily nut plan after 60. Have 10 to 15 almonds with skins on for breakfast. You can add them to oatmeal or yogurt, blend them into smoothies, or eat them as a mid-morning snack. Between 1 and 2 p.m., have 1 ounce of pistachios, roughly 49 pieces, lightly salted or unsalted. Shelling them helps with portion control and mindfulness. Evening, before or after dinner, 5 to 7 walnut halves, raw and refrigerated, optional. Mix with berries or eat 1 hour before bed for better sleep. Optional weekly add-on, 2 to 3 times a week, 15 hazelnuts, dry roasted. Great with a piece of fruit or herbal tea. What to avoid daily? Peanuts, especially commercial peanut butter. Cashews if you have kidney or blood sugar issues. Macadamias if you've had gallbladder problems. Pine nuts if you're on prescription medications. You don't have to implement everything at once. But science shows that small changes over time can make a huge difference. So protect your heart, protect your brain, and protect your independence one handful at a time. If this information was valuable to you today, please like it. Subscribe to our channel for weekly senior health content. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video, and tell us in the comments what small food habit you're changing starting today. Remember, it's the foods you eat every single day that shape your future. Not the cheat meal, not the holiday dessert, but the quiet daily habits like which nut you reach for when you're hungry. Your experience might inspire someone else. If you know anyone in your life, a parent, a friend, or a neighbor who would benefit from this information, please share it. Show them this video, it could change their tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Stay strong.